Hey guys, it's your girl Celine,
With Chris.
and today we are talking about loving through differences. So, what that means. Hi guys,
Hello.
welcome to CNC Not the Soda TV.
Hold on.
I like adventures, I like hiking, I like being around nature and seeing water. This topic is about loving through differences with your partner. And what that means is the way how you was brought up. It could be about family myths, just the way how you grew up makes you different from your partner, and bringing it into a relationship can be a good thing of having differences, or it can bring conflicts into your relationship.
That's true. No.
Yeah.
It's more of a bigger thing of conflict, because especially if you were raised two different since we were raised pretty much in a sense like me and you, we were raised two different ways. So
yeah, like, you know, I was brought up with having two parents, and Chris was with one, so it makes things different, how we see things differently. And that could be sometimes, like, you know, for example, like an argument, sometimes you and your partner don't see things eye to eye, and they see it in one way.
like
and
I was
then,
very I'm not gonna lie, I was very one-sided.
And then I was one-sided because the way, you know, I grew up and you grew up. So I feel like how to fix that is definitely, like I always say, you know, communicating and talking, you know, things out. And definitely always say your point of view instead of being judgmental of how the other person does things.
Try to put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah.
Like, try to understand it from their point of view, because like I said, if I'm one-sided and I don't understand it from what you're going, from what your perspective in a sense, then it's just gonna keep the argument going, or whatever the whatever word I'm looking for, but like the disagreement or whatever's going on is just gonna keep being prolonged, because if you're one-sided, you don't look at it from their point of view, then it's just no point.
Yeah, and I also say, you know, self-talk is definitely a good thing. It's not like you're crazy, but just self-talk to yourself, like, damn, am I wrong, or am I right, or should I say this?
Everybody talks
or
to
that?
themselves, so
yeah,
I wouldn't say. It's just when you start answering yourself, that's the problem. That's the problem. But it's always good to talk to, so I do it in the shower a lot.
Yeah, no, and there's nothing wrong for, you know, looking up things or reading books. You know, when I feel like I said, I've never been into a relationship like this, and I read different books or like research to help me with myself, to make myself better in this relationship, and that's something that I would like never do.
Yeah, I did the same. Like I bought a book just because, excuse me, just because it's a relationship that you want, so you might as well change for the better. Like, it's just something that I was dealing with myself, and it was affecting our relationship. So in order for our relationship to get better, I had to fix something about myself.
And that's something that's also considered like an exercise, which is helping your relationship grow. Because if you guys cannot get through that, then there won't be a relationship, or the relationship will become toxic, and you don't see eye to eye. That's exactly what's gonna happen, and your relationship is, you know, gonna fail because of that. But I always feel like, you know, I could relate to a lot of people, or even could relate to Chris, even though that I wasn't in the same situation as him as growing up, but
you understand.
But I understand it because I almost been in that situation, like having a single parent or whatever. So I could, not saying both of my parents wasn't there, but you know, when my time when my parents like about to split up or whatever, so I got the feel of what he went through in my own eyes, you know. So I
Yeah,
feel like
you got
we
a part
could,
of, you got a part of my world.
yeah,
Pretty
so
much,
I
yeah.
could like relate and sit back and think about things before I actually say it when we get to argument or things like that. Like we said, like no relationship
It's hard, I'm not gonna lie. It's very hard.
Like no relationship is perfect. You're gonna sit here and agree with one another, and I think that's what makes it beautiful, that you guys have a difference, so you guys can have conversation and talk about things.
You can be more open about, like, you don't have to be more cautious about what you talk about, what you say, or how you say it. When you actually sit there and talk things out, when you actually understand it and things like that.
Like the book I read, you know, it just takes me back to, like, it talks about even family myths that I didn't even think that had something to even do with differences in like loving and stuff, and which is true, you know. Family myths, we all basically all have different, like with loving through differences is like being teachers with one another, you know. We're learning as we go. We're teaching each other things we don't like, do like, and accepting each other for, you know, who we are. That's how I see it, you know. I mean, it's hard being in a relationship, like I said, but I feel like once you have, like, you know, the communication, the self-talk, the not being judgmental between each other, think of the positive sides, even when you guys get into fights, of everything positive within the relationship instead of the negative, and that will make your relationship, I feel like, richer than it was before. And even till now, like, you know, me and Chris are still learning about each other. It's not gonna be,
you'll learn every day.
Yeah, we're not gonna be not ever learning, like,
yeah,
even
because you're not gonna be doing the same things you did yesterday that you do today. So it's just like different occasions, different things happen. You see how a person is in every situation.
And I feel like even people who get married learn more about each other, because now you're married.
Different tastes come out, different, like,
and people are like, oh, you know, you don't have to get married to not know the person, like something like that. But that's not the point. Like, when you get married, that's like another stage of life, that to see how that person is and still learn from each other. Then when you have kids, that's another thing you guys gotta learn, you know. So it's just like, it's endlessly, like, you're always, like, you know, learning, basically.
You're gathering something to just make your relationship together better for yourself and for each other, pretty much.
Yeah, so I just feel like being patient with one another is important too. Being patient, because
biggest thing
that could go all the way left. But like I said, you know, being patient, talking to one another, I definitely think is the key. Or sometimes, you know, not saying to walk away from a situation is a good thing, because it would never get done. But if you need some time to gather your thoughts and come to the person and speak, then that's definitely another way to talk about it.
That should always just be said, though, like
at that moment.
Yeah, like, I just need to, you know what, let's just take a little 5-minute break from each other so I can at least collect my thoughts, because you don't ever want to say something you don't mean or anything like that. And if it's like going for a walk helps you do that, then do it, because you rather take that little bit of time away from each other to know what the right thing is to say, than rather just saying it and then regretting it later. Yeah,
and I know a lot of people don't like, you know, I'm not saying in the beginning of a relationship, but like telling the partner of, like, you know, what they've been through, their life story. I think that is really important, because those little things could affect your relationship if you don't tell the person anything about your life. Like, I'm not saying, oh, after
it has
day
to be
2,
everything.
you know,
it doesn't have to be and then don't get us wrong, it doesn't have to be like everything you've ever been through, your biggest moment. Like, if you maybe, like, for instance, like, I did something that Celine didn't like, and it brought up something that
from the past, that my past,
it may be something really small, and then it's like, bring it to their attention, because now if you continuously do it, it's just gonna build up, and then when she finally blows up or says something about it, I'm gonna take it as like, oh, I've been doing it for this long, why does it bother you now?
Yeah, so I definitely think, you know, anything, it's nothing wrong with letting the person know, but just make sure that's the person, you know, you want to be with, and
make sure they're the people that you want to know. Because you don't want to sit here and invest your time into somebody that's not going to actually sit here and care about it, honestly, because I could sit here and tell her something that I really feel deep near and like I need to tell her, and it could go either two ways. She doesn't care or she's gonna care. So
but think about it like this: the same way how you and your friends may be different from each other, but you still love that person. So you have to think about it like in a relationship.
Think of it more of it. Think it literally is a friendship, obviously,
Yeah.
but it's just more of a romantic one
You best.
with
But
benefits.